bit of history. So what is SAP? Well, SAP stands for Systems, Applications and Products in Data Processing. The full company name is SAP AG. AG is like the incorporated, and then the German version of incorporated.
Yeah.
The name of the software is always SAP, and then with a version or a system module behind it. So for this is SAP SD. All those names are also guarded with copyrights. It was founded in 1972 in Germany. It was founded by 5 people who used to work for IBM and got into, I think it's, a fight is a big word, but a discussion. And then they left IBM and started SAP, which is now the 4th largest software provider in the world and the world's largest provider of ERP packages. If you have any questions about abbreviations, because for me they're really normal, you also please ask, okay? Because they're so common for me, I just read over it and I forget that sometimes people do not know the abbreviations.
Oh no, that's okay. Yeah, since I'm already working on SAP from a couple of years, so I'm okay.
Okay, that's good. Why SAP? What SAP does different from all other, or most other ERP packages, is that they provide you with a package which already contains thousands of standard business processes. They listened very carefully to what the customers say and took the best practices of every process you can imagine. Let me ask Andy, are you going to share this presentation? Because otherwise I have to read everything. And I think...
yes, actually, I was thinking, Stefan, maybe you could skip this part because since he is already working as a tester in SAP, so he's like pretty much updated. So we can directly go ahead with the SD module, Stefan.
Okay,
so
yeah, that's sure.
Okay.
No problem.
Okay, go ahead.
This is, I think this picture, then you know this one as well. Okay, so then we can skip that as well. Do you know how the architecture is built up?
Yeah.
Okay, skip that one then. Sales and distribution program. We have the course objective. Course objective is an overview of sales and distribution. That is for this demo. Okay. Overview of sales and distribution in the SD application module in the SAP ERP system. We're also going to identify the organizational units used in the SD module. Going to show you use of master data and the use of basic SD transactions. Okay. Introduction to SAP sales and distribution model. It consists of multi-layer things. It's built up in different parts. So you've got sales support, sales, shipping, billing, sales information system, transportation, and export. This all together forms the sales and distribution module. Processes in sales and distribution. The process we have is sales support is mostly reporting over all the things that are below that. So you can monitor every sales activity, which will be inquiries, quotations, contracts. That is in the pre-sales phase. And in the sales itself, you've got free of charge deliveries, subsequent delivery free of charge, orders, returns, and scheduling agreements. Then the shipping itself is done by a delivery and a goods issue. And in billing, you've got 3 options, and they are a debit memo, invoice, and credit memo. For every one of those that I mentioned, there is a standard version available. So that means if you start customizing SAP and you choose the standard version, you can just start entering materials, entering customers, and it works straight away. However, most companies need to make adjustments for the system to fit exactly the process they have. What you see on the side is that when you're shipping goods, you have an impact on material management. Because materials move out of your system or move out of your company. So also in the system things happen. There's also an impact if we're talking about availability. When you place a material in an order, that means you have to, how do you say it, you're going to put that away, especially for that customer. You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
To create a financial document saying, how do you say, prospect sales. And then when the sales order becomes a delivery, the amounts that are in finance accounting are also moved around. So you always have to be in a sort of balance. Well, I'll show you a bit more about that later, okay?
Okay.
If you look at the sales flow, it consists of 5 different things. Going from inquiry to quotation, to sales order, to delivery, to billing. Depending on the process you have, you can either put one of those in or leave it out. The only thing that will always be there is the order itself and billing. But even free of charge, you can sometimes skip billing or do it in a different way that will be in sort of internal billing. I will go through those steps one by one. Okay. Do you have any questions so far?
No.
Okay. We'll start with inquiry. Inquiry is standard in SAP, and it's called a sales document type IN from inquiry, of course. The inquiry is not used very frequently. Transaction is PA11, and on the next screen I can show you where it is in the menu. So I'm guessing you're familiar with the structure of the menu then, because you work with SAP?
Yeah.
Okay, you know, let me see if I can get an arrow. Do you also see my arrow, or you don't see it?
Yeah, I can see the arrow, yeah.
Okay. Here in the top, you're also able to put in PA11 and press enter. It will bring you directly here, so you don't always have to go through the menu, but probably you know that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this is a starting screen for a sales order. It also consists of 3 layers. Behind this button, on this part, will give you the header data, and behind this button, there's more header data. This level is, let me think that I'm going to say it correctly because I know it in Dutch, but it's, here you can see the things that are valid for every item.
Oh, that's item level. Header level, item level, and schedule level.
Yeah, that is item level, but this is really material level, because if you, here you will see materials, like if you order, let's say we're talking about office stuff, so you can order a pen, and you can order a pencil, and you can order paper. It will be three different lines. Then you can select the line, and you can go to the details, so you can see header data, which is valid for the complete order, item data, which covers everything that's valid for the materials that are listed here, and then per material you can see specific data for that material, including prices, or if you think about those kind of things.
So that's called BOM, right? Bill of material, right? Like
well, no. A bill of material, I think that's the best thing to explain is if you have the wheel of a car. The wheel consists of the rubber, that's the outside part. Then you've got the, how do you say, the thing that is put on, the metal. I don't know what it's called in English.
Expanding.
Yeah, I think so. Let me think of a different example.
Item.
Well, if you have a lamp like that is on your ceiling, it will consist of the the metal part, which gives it the shape, and the light bulb, which is the part that gives the light. And all the different parts together make it a lamp.
Yeah.
So you will have...
Computer is a good example, no?
Yeah, computer would be a great example, because you've got a screen, you've got a keyboard, you've got a mouse, and you've got the desktop.
Yeah.
And then all the things together, those 4 items together, form one computer. So
Yeah.
computer would be here in the top level,
Mm-hmm.
and then those 4 materials will be shown below here, and you can expand or open or close it. So you see, if you order 10 computers,
Mm-hmm.
this will be...
Yes, Stefan is going to be using the same server. Okay, if both of you guys use the same client, then whatever configurations you do or Stefan shows you, he will be able to see that. That is what you mean to say, right?
Yeah, and then later if I have to refer, I'll be able to access it then.
Yeah, both of you will be using the same client.
Yeah,
Okay, you can go ahead, Stefan, sorry for intruding.
Okay, no problem. It's a good thing that you explained it. Okay, let's continue. Next document is quotation. Well, it depends really on the company where you work, if they use it or not. Some companies do, some companies don't need it, because it's different kind of business. Transaction is VA21. Same menu, it's one layer lower. It's VA21, and it's a little less complex. Like, yeah, it gives you... We were looking at this screen. Let's show you. You see here the sales is more... It's actually, in the background, it's all the same transaction. So you can see everything is the same. That's why also if you create an inquiry, you can push it forward to become a quotation. A quotation, you can push it forward to become an order.
yeah.
So, again, here is the same 3 layers.
Mm-hmm.
For the sales order, the document type is OR, which stands for order. That's the standard document type. Transaction is VA01.
Mm-hmm.
Again, you can copy from a quotation or an inquiry directly to an order. I think this speaks more or less for itself, because also when you're talking about delivery, you can talk about outbound delivery, which is followed by picking goods issue. You can maybe distinguish from the transaction codes that the VL01N is the 1 is always standing for create, 2 stands for change, and if you would have a 3, it would be display.
Yeah.
And that's again with 11, 12, 13, 21, 22, 23. It's always the 4th digit that will tell you if it's create, change, or display.
Okay.
Standard document type is LF. That's the German people call a delivery Lieferung. So that's why it's LF.
Okay.
When you create a delivery, it's just, you have to see it like a notification that you're going to deliver something somewhere at a certain time.
Mm-hmm.
From the moment you start picking things and goods issuing,
Mm-hmm.
things start happening in the system.
Okay.
Shipping and warehouse management. Shipping is actually in the module logistics execution, and warehousing is in the module warehouse management.
Mm-hmm.
The nice thing, I will also show this in the training, because it's such an important part of SD as well.
Mm-hmm.
In the shipping point that you can add to a sales order will help you to do deadline monitoring, availability check, and creating of deliveries. Without a shipping point, you will not be able to create a delivery. Then you can either choose to use a warehouse, which has a... let me see if I can So it's this building. In this building, it's this closet, and in this closet is this shelf, and on the shelf it's the most left product.
Yeah,
So warehouse management gives you a lot more detail about where your material is at.
Go by the one particular business unit. We go to a company code and probably sometimes single sales organization or multiple sales organizations. But it's mostly related to the business process or business unit, of the
That's true. That's true. It's just a choice you make when you set up the system, and depending on the processes you have, it can come in handy to have a different sales organization, because also from an authorization point of view, let's say you have pharmaceuticals that can only be sold by expert people like doctors or something. You can have them work in a different sales organization to reassure with authorization, with use of authorization, that nobody else can see that kind of materials and sell that kind of materials. So that's how you can use sales organization as well. Other levels are distribution channels. That's to provide the market with the best possible service and the way in which goods are sold to the customers. Division is the different product divisions within a company. So what I just told you before about the authorizations for doctors, you can also do multiple divisions, and you can create the same, you can solve the same problem. It just depends on where and how you want to report things. So usually those decisions are made at a higher level in the company, usually management level. They decide on the depth of which they want to see a report. Or the detail, maybe it's a better word. We talk about organizational structures. You can put it in a picture, which makes it maybe a bit easier to look at. Let's say company code 1000 stands for Europe, and in Europe you have two sales organizations. The first is for Holland and the second is for Germany. And in the US you also have one company code, and that company code has one sales organization for the complete United States. Okay. You know about the client, because that is the layer that I showed you in the beginning.
Yeah, I know, correct.
Okay. Organizational structures. If you let me go back 1 second. If you take this sales organization 1000, you can also start dividing that up again in go a bit lower. So the sales organization for the Netherlands is divided into a distribution channel for retail and for wholesale. And in retail you have a division for candy and a division for meat. And the same goes for the wholesale. They also have a division for candy and a division for meat. And those three levels together are called a sales area. You can assign a sales area. So if you look at the three gray levels, you can assign a sales area directly to company code. And that makes it unique for that company. Also has to do with authorizations. You can also do some other stuff with that, and I can show you that in the training as well. At plant level, you can also now I'm going to say you assign the sales organization always to a plant. That's so if you sell something, it will always come from a certain plant. Okay, if we talk one level lower again, you can talk about sales officers, sales groups, and sales people. Again, that is yes.
So they are all assigned to clients directly.
Yeah, well, they're built up in one client, and you can connect. Let's say the sales office Boston can because 2000 was US, remember? You can connect the sales office to this sales organization.
Okay.
And again, then you can use the groups and the people to give or to grant authorization to the system for certain parts. So everything here is designed with keeping in mind that not everybody can do everything. To talk about SOX or those kind of things, that is, well, in the 1970s that was not really the idea behind it, but now it comes in really handy that they build it this way.
Okay.
Master data and sales and distribution. If you talk about master data, we have actually three things. So there's the customer master, the material master, and the pricing conditions.
Okay.
The customer master has a three-level setup. You've got general customer master data, which is name and address and directions, the bank account numbers and the contacts of that customer. On company code level, you can assign account management thing. That is more in the financial part of SAP than that I mean account management, like a person that goes to visit the customer. It's really on the financial SAP part, and also payment terms and those things you can assign on company code level. On the sales area level, you can assign shipping, billing, and partner functions. The partner functions you see here are the ones that are always in there, and you can expand them with a lot of different additional partner functions. You can also create new ones if you want, but you can think about, let's say you can also add the salesperson here, but only these four that are here, these four are standard. But you can add many more.
Okay.
Like sales representative, sales agent, whatever you can think about. You can also indicate if there's like, let's say it's a big company. So the headquarter office is the one that calls you and says, I want to buy this car from you. And they tell you, please send the car to our subsidiary, which is in, let's say, a different city. Doesn't matter which city. But the invoice has to be sent to a company that they outsourced the processing of invoices to. And the payer will then be again the same one as you sold it to. So all of those will have a different number. And you can also connect everything together again at the sold to party level. You understand more or less what I mean with this?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Okay. Well, actually, I just explained this without the slide. This is more or less what happens if you put it in a picture. So the sales order comes from the sold to party, and if we are the vendor, we ship it to the party which is indicated by this sold to. We also send an invoice to the billing party that was told to us by the sold to, and whoever pays us, we don't mind as long as they pay. We also have the possibility to put in a dunning system to remind customers that they need to pay and to take further measures if they stop or if they don't pay at all. So you can connect to a firm that goes and collects money for you if you want. Master data for the material master. Generally, you have three levels. It is the description, the division, the size, and the weight. Size and weight is usually only only interesting if you are really doing the packaging yourself. There's a lot more information in the master data, but in order to get it working quickly, you only need those three general things. Pricing conditions. Yeah, if you.
So coming Monday, Stefan, would that be a good time for you? Monday onwards, will you